Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you ICD for inviting me to share with you our model in Nextur. Nextur is the International Network for Competitive and Sustainable Tourism. It's a regions network. We have as members 32 regions in Europe, one of Bulgaria in Triafna, is the regional area of Triafna, and we are proud to be probably one of the most important lobbies in order to put in the middle of the priorities in the European policy about tourism, the regions, and the capacity of regions to generate models for tourism in Europe. And let me explain you today some things about what are our model that we are promoting from Nextur, from the European Network for Competitive and Sustainable Tourism, related with creative tourism. For us, is one of the main elements we are promoting in order to achieve this model where sustainability is part of this capacity to build a new tourism model for Europe. I will talk about innovation in the tourism model. Then I will talk about the innovation in the nation branding. We think that innovation must be in the center of the values of the nation branding. I think it's important in order to change the vision of what is a destination, what is a tourism destination. Then I think it's important to talk about customers. Often we used to do our promotion thinking in the offer, not in the demand. And we think that it's important to put customer, to put tourist, to put visitor in the center of our innovation. Fourth, about the creative process to create experiences, we think that the creation of experiences is the opportunity we have in the future in order to achieve our goals for sustainable and competitive tourism. And at the end, we will talk about creative networks, and including, obviously, Nextur as one of these creative networks. The innovation in the tourism model needs to be considered with this revolution that supposed the innovation with the information technologies. The information technologies change absolutely the ecosystem of the tourism model because they are speeding up the intermediation and they are benefiting the emergency of new intermediaries because they are reducing costs, and it's important for that, and because they are raising amount of information. But at the same time, an innovative model for tourism must consider that in the era of a knowledge-driven economy, the elements that make us more appealing to vacation travelers are the same ones that help us attract investment, projects, talent, and progress. We are not in the 19th century when to be a competitive destination, a competitive economy, it was necessary to be close to the sea, for example, and to have a great port in order to export goods and raw materials. It's not necessary to have great infrastructures of transport. It's necessary to have good conditions to attract people because the information society needs good conditions to attract people. One example, Barcelona received 3 weeks ago, the Mobile World Congress, the most important event in the world, talking about mobile phones. It's not thanks to our tradition in technology related with mobile phones. It's thanks to our attractiveness as a destination to receive tourism, to receive people, to receive talent, and to receive projects. We think it's an important issue in order to explore options to become competitive destinations for the next future. People is changing behaviors. The border between leisure and work, leisure and business are weaker than ever. It's true that people used to mix both parts of the life, leisure and business, and it's important to take advantage of that and try to project our destinations thanks to the attractivity as a tourism destination. Then we think that innovation must be put in the middle of the values of the destination, in the center of our brand. We need a good, innovative ecosystem in our destinations. Innovation in products, creating new experiences. Innovation in services, being able to put in the position of the customer, not in the position of the offer. Innovation in business model. This innovation is coming quickly thanks to the new digital platforms, for example, that are changing every day the ecosystem of the distribution in tourism. But the most important for us is to put the customer in the center of our decisions. In this case, for example, when you are talking about innovation, we must center this innovation on creating authentic experiences. Authentic experience. Authenticity is one of the values that people need to experience in our destinations. People doesn't want to go to the thematic park. When they decide to go to a thematic park, they buy a ticket for the theme park. In our case, we need to not to be a theme park, we need to have authentic destinations and to preserve our culture and to preserve our capacity to attract people thanks to our values as a nation and as a destination. Then we must to innovate in channels, in designing channels that must be user-centered, that must reach the consumer directly, and at the end, we must to be innovative in research, researching in emotions. The message that people that arrive to our destinations needs to hear from us is messages that arrive to the heart, not messages that arrive to the brain. It's important to talk about that, the emotions. It's important to talk about the research about the emotions. We are in Catalonia developing strategies with the EmoLab, a laboratory of emotions. It's a platform, a research platform for tourism companies in order to innovate the design of tourism products and services, analyzing neurological reactions of customers to the experience and channels that we are using. How to attract these innovative classes, these innovative customers? Because we need to put people in the center of our strategy. Designing a user-centered tourism product, the time of marketing campaigns based in postcard photos is over. Now it's time for people. Now it's time for feelings. Now it's time for emotions. And our marketing strategy must be centered on that, centered on users, centered on experiences, and centered on emotions. Acknowledging the ideal sensations users wish to experience. It's absolutely necessary to know the customer. It's absolutely necessary to know their habits, wishes, fears, hopes, and aspirations. And then starting from the needs of our target audience and staying one step ahead, researching the objective aspects, acting as a trigger of psychological and experiential mechanisms. Recognizing the experience wished by the travelers, acknowledging the combination of significant elements that shape the travel experience for the users, and projecting unrealized fantasies, hidden fantasies. Tourism production must include innovation and creativity. Combining projective methods and techniques that influence the creative process by providing data of the user's fantasy. As said Jules Verne, anything one man can imagine, other men can make real. Let me now show you a video that explains clearly that. A video from Catalonia. Is one of our ambassadors, is one of our advisors, is probably our best architect that used to represent Catalonia as an attractive destination, as a creative destination, attracting creative tourism.
They say that artists are always looking for inspiration. The landscape of Catalonia has always given me many ideas. Nature is the beauty we can perceive the fastest. Sometimes natural areas, cultivation sites, mountains are of such great beauty that you think, I wish I could make a building that beautiful. When we were children, my mother used to bring us to the mountains, and she used to say, look how beautiful, it looks like a garden. Actually, this is paradoxical. Of course, gardens are inspired by nature. It's the same thing we do in art. Try to reproduce what has moved us. This is a land of generous, open people, with a cultural world and a legacy of artists that we constantly use as a reference. Many people come to Catalonia. Everyone that comes has an idea in mind. It might not be something specific, but they all feel it's something wonderful. Perhaps we are all looking for inspiration, but I think we are all artists. We are the artists of our own lives, and this, I think, is the supreme art. After all, inspiration is all of those little things that put you in a mood that makes you feel that you are in tune with what you perceive. if you have the perception of being in an easy, friendly, nice space, which has a certain mystery that you want to discover, all of that is inspiration. Catalonia, come and get inspired.
Get inspired is the value promise that we are doing to our customers, to our next customers. We are not selling sun and beach. We are not selling the city or the urban experience in Barcelona. We are selling specifically get inspired, receive emotions. Here, Benedetta Tagliabue, probably our best architect in Catalonia, that is the author, one of our masterpieces in the city of Barcelona, is the market of Santa Caterina in the Gothic quarter of the city of Barcelona, is probably one of the best persons to talk about it. How can you attract people thinking in creativity, thinking in inspiration, thinking in emotions? She's talking about emotions, creativity, landscape, land. Catalonia as a destination could offer a good mix of all of that. But which role should play a DMO, a destination management organization, changing this tourism model? Well, obviously as a facilitator. The first thing we must do is to become a facilitator of new contexts and the opening of new markets to all agents we have in our destinations, to private sector, to other institutions, to citizens. Citizens must be part of our destinations. A good balance between citizens' needs and visitors' needs is really important in order to offer an authentic experience in our destinations. I think it's important to say that the integration, the capacity, the permeability between both communities, the community of visitors and community of residents. We are inspired in the philosophy of Richard Florida, probably one of the best urban planners and land planners in the world, that say that creative lands that are attracting the creative class. I recommend you to read these books, The Creative Class by Richard Florida, that is using, for example, the example of California. Why California becomes the center of the new era of the digital revolution in United States and in the world, thanks to the attractiveness as a destination, thanks to the climate, thanks to the atmosphere, thanks to the lifestyle, thanks to the way to do the things in California, thanks to the open-minded people, thanks to a lot of things that are different than the traditional issues that we are promoting as a destination. I think it's really important to talk about that. Good destinations to visit because they are good lands to be lived, good lands to live. Okay. Then the last part of my presentation is to talk about creative networks. Creative networks that help us to promote the practices of the collaborative competence within different local companies and institutions, activating and mid-term actions focused on strategy, research and development and network research. Which is my network? Which is the contribution of my network? How can I attract to my network? How can I use it? How can I maximize the visibility? Focusing the force on easing the interaction between existing research and development networks, internationally known as a small world. This small world to your own network that helped you in order to promote your destination as a platform to receive this kind of creative tourism, creative communities, helping companies to acquire new values and attitudes in order to collaborate with other global knowledge-driven society innovators and entrepreneurs that are already focusing on the technocultural innovation. Then our ecosystem, the innovation in the tourism sector is changing. These networks helps us to improve and to boost our knowledge bases, improve our external relations and the potential abilities, capacities and individual ideas that will allow the companies within the network to develop more efficient projects and innovative companies. Creating local quality synergies within other global networks, highlighting the small world to the tourism sector. The ability to combine creative capacities distributed within different companies will allow the creation of virtual complex enterprises. This creative network are focused in this model, in this responsible tourism model that is environmental sustainable, socially inclusive, and universally accessible. creative networks as, for example, Nextour, the European Network for Competitive and Sustainable Tourism, that try to boost our model, our competitive and sustainable model, in the middle of the discussion about the next policy, the next tourism policy in Europe, and obviously at the same time in the world. Responsible tourism model to inspire the policies of cooperation between destinations, the cooperation between networks, the cooperation between these small worlds that are being created all over the world, and obviously helping as well to identify and inspiring the foreign investment for these countries. The main challenges that we have as a European Network for Competitive and Sustainable Tourism for Nextour are, first of all, breaking seasonality is one of objectives we have, and creative tourism could help us to this objective, to this goal. The second one is accessibility as a part of responsible tourism model. The other one is renovating outdated destinations is one of the needs we have. Some of these creative communities, some of these creative destinations are really committed with these objectives, renovating outdated destinations as a part of the attractivity as a creative destinations. Cultural and creative tourism as a center in the center acts of our strategy. Cultural and social sustainability, absolutely important, this social sustainability. Digitalization, OTAs, and sharing economy in the center of the debate of our working group, the digital platforms. And finally, the rest of our main challenges for Nextour for these 3 years, 2015 and 2018, where Catalonia will be the president of the network Nextour, is the smart destinations and big data as a part of this important transformation that we need to do in our regions. The tourism indicators is important to know. It's really important to know how are our model evolving, how are our model changing the way to do the things. The climate change, we are committed with this capacity to react against the climate change and to adapt our destinations to the climate change with the conclusions of the COP21 in Paris. The coastal and maritime tourism, and at the end, the visa policy for destinations. Is that, thank you all for hearing me, thank you for attending this event, thank you, and I at your disposal for anything you need, for any question you have. Thank you very much.